warm glow from the kitchen lights fills the house. The counters are spotless, the floors shine, and dinner simmers quietly on the stove. It looks like a perfect suburban evening, but the silence tells another story. Sarah Carter, early 40s, moves through the kitchen with practiced calm. She's careful, deliberate. Every sound softened, every motion quiet. Her face is kind but tired, like someone who's forgotten how to rest. From the living room, the low hum of a television and the tapping of keys on a laptop. David Carter, mid-40s, sits on the couch in a crisp shirt even after work hours. He's focused on his emails, jaw tight, eyes locked on the screen. His presence fills the room even when he doesn't speak. Upstairs, Lily Carter, 15, finishes her homework. The sounds from below, her mother's soft movements, her father's impatient sighs, are all too familiar. She glances down the stairs, watching her mother set the table alone. There's something in her gaze, quiet worry beyond her years. Sarah lays out dinner. Roast chicken, mashed potatoes, steamed vegetables. Simple, comforting food. David shuts his laptop reluctantly and joins her at the table. Lily follows, hesitant but smiling. For a moment, they look like a family again. David, checking his phone. Traffic was a nightmare. You should have seen the office today. No one listens. I swear, if I wasn't there, that whole team would fall apart. Sarah, gently. You must be exhausted. I was thinking, maybe we could take a weekend off soon? Just the three of us. Go somewhere quiet. Get some fresh air. David doesn't look up. He's cutting into his chicken. David, a weekend? Not really the best time for that. You know how things are at work. Then, with a slight scoff, besides, who's going to pay for these little getaways you keep suggesting? Sarah's hand freezes on her fork. She gives a small, uncertain laugh, trying to ease the tension. Sarah, I didn't mean anything big. Just maybe a day trip. I thought it might be nice for Lily. David nice, sure. But let's be realistic, Sarah. You worry too much about nonsense. The word nonsense hangs in the air. Lily looks down at her plate. Sarah swallows hard and nods quietly. A few moments of silence pass. Only the clinking of silverware breaks it. The meal is nearly over. Lily pushes her food around with her fork. David talks about a deal at work. Sarah listens, smiling faintly even when he doesn't notice. David, suddenly. Oh, by the way, next time, try not to overcook the vegetables. They're kind of mushy. It's a small comment, but sharp enough to cut. Sarah doesn't respond. Her eyes glisten for just a moment before she blinks it away. Lily watches. She sees the flicker of hurt in her mother's eyes, the small tremor in her hand as she gathers plates. David stands, grabbing his phone again. Dinner was fine. I've got a few calls to make. He exits the room. Sarah exhales softly, collecting the dishes with careful grace. Lily stands and helps without a word. The two move in silence, a silent bond forming between the woman who's endured too much and the girl who's seen too clearly. When Sarah turns to the sink, Lily looks at her mother's reflection in the window. The woman standing still, fading behind the glass. Her jaw tightens, something inside her, quiet, determined, begins to take root. Soft sunlight filters through the kitchen blinds. Sarah stands at the counter, stirring coffee. The quiet is heavy, not peaceful, just empty. The radio hums low in the background. A cheerful morning host talks about gratitude and family. Sarah listens for a moment, then clicks it off. The silence feels more honest. On the table, David's briefcase sits open. Papers neatly arranged, schedule printed, tasks lined in bold red ink. Sarah places his coffee beside it. Black, no sugar, just how he likes it. He walks in moments later, adjusting his tie, barely glancing up. David, I told you to wake me 10 minutes earlier. The traffic's worse on Thursdays. Sarah, I tried, but you said you needed 5 more minutes. David, dryly. You should have insisted. He picks up his coffee and takes a sip. Doesn't thank her. Doesn't notice her hand brushing against his as she clears a crumb from the counter. He's already somewhere else, in his mind, in control of everything but the space he actually stands in. Sarah wipes the table. The house is spotless, yet she keeps cleaning, as if she's trying to scrub away something she can't name. She pauses at the photo shelf. Her wedding picture. David's arm around her, both of them smiling. She stares at it for a long time. The smile looks different now. Rehearsed? Maybe even borrowed. From upstairs, the faint sound of Lily humming to herself. A reminder that not everything has faded yet. Sarah takes out a small notebook from the drawer. A journal. Plain and worn. She writes, "He doesn't see me. I'm here. But I'm invisible." She closes it quickly when she hears footsteps. David's world couldn't be more different. His office is sleek, busy, full of movement and respect. People greet him by name. His voice carries weight here. Commands, decisions, certainty. A co-worker pats him on the back. "Co-worker, man, I don't know how you do it. Big job. Nice house. Perfect family." David smiles. A small, smug smile. David, it's all about discipline. You keep things in line, they stay in line. He says it like a rule, not a truth. In his mind, control equals success. At work and at home. The house smells like dinner again. Chicken, vegetables, warmth. Sarah sets the table. David arrives late, loosening his tie. Lily sits quietly, scrolling through her phone. Sarah. "You're late. I kept it warm. David, don't start. I had a client call. You wouldn't understand." Sarah's voice softens, careful. "Sarah, I wasn't starting anything. Just wanted you to eat before it gets cold." He nods, distracted. He never looks at her for long. Lily glances between them, seeing it all. The small dismissals. The tone. The way her mother's voice always shrinks when her father speaks. Sarah sits at the table with a travel brochure spread out. A simple weekend getaway. Lakeside cabins. Family trails. Quiet mornings. Lily joins her, eyes bright. "Lily, that looks nice, Mom. We could go hiking or something. Dad might like it too." Sarah smiles softly. Sarah. "Maybe. I'll ask him when he's in a better mood." Moments later, David walks in, looking at the brochure before she can speak. David. "What's this?" Sarah, hopeful. "Just an idea. Maybe a weekend trip. It's been a while since we—" David, cutting her off. "A trip. Really, Sarah? We have bills, responsibilities. You can't just plan things like that without thinking." He tosses the brochure on the counter, the pages fluttering like fallen leaves. Sarah's shoulders drop. She picks it up quietly, folds it neatly, and sets it aside. Lily watches from the hallway, unseen but listening. Her mother's silence hurts more than her father's words. The house is dark. Lily lies in bed, staring at the ceiling. A faint sound from down the hall. Her mother's quiet sobs. Lily sits up, holding her pillow tight. She wants to go comfort her, but she doesn't move. She knows her mother would just say she's fine. The tears behind the door are private, quiet, and practiced, like everything else Sarah does. Lily whispers to herself. Lily, softly. He doesn't even see her. Her face hardens, the sadness slowly turning into something else. Resolve. She doesn't know what she'll do yet, but she knows something has to change. Sunlight filters through thin curtains, painting soft lines across the floor. Lily sits at her desk, quietly tying her hair into a ponytail. Her school bag is neatly packed, her face calm. But her eyes tell a different story. The sound of arguing voices drifts faintly from downstairs. Her parents again. Not shouting, just sharp, tired words. Lily puts on her headphones but doesn't press play. She just listens, not to the music, but to the silence that follows the fight. Sarah stands by the counter, her coffee untouched. David scrolls through his phone. Lily enters, cautious but polite. Lily morning, Sarah, forcing a smile. Morning, sweetheart. You want some toast? David, make it quick. We're already late. Sarah quietly lowers the bread into the toaster. David's tone isn't cruel, just cold. The kind of cold that numbs slowly, day after day. Lily watches her mother's shoulders tighten every time her father speaks. She sees the little things. How her mother never meets his eyes anymore. How she keeps her voice small to keep the peace. She doesn't say anything, but something inside her begins to shift. The hallway buzzes with laughter and chatter. Lily walks beside her friend Emma, listening as she talks about her parents planning a picnic. Dad packed everything last night. He even tried to make sandwiches. Mom said he made a disaster out of the kitchen. Lily smiles faintly, but there's a flicker of envy behind her eyes. Lily, that sounds nice. Emma laughs, unaware of Lily's quiet sadness. As they part ways, Lily watches her friend's father waiting by the school gate, holding a small umbrella for his wife, who laughs at something he says. It's such a small, ordinary thing, but it feels extraordinary to her. The teacher writes on the board, Essay assignment, The Kind of Love I Admire. Lily stares at the words for a long moment. Around her, students whisper and joke, but she's somewhere else, deep inside her thoughts. She begins to write. The kind of love I admire is quiet, but kind. It listens before it speaks. It never uses power to win, only patience to understand. Her pen moves faster. Real love doesn't need control. It needs respect, and the strongest people are the ones who love without making others feel small. The classroom fades around her. It's as if she's writing directly to her father and for her mother. When she finishes, there's a single tear on the page. She wipes it quickly and folds the paper. The principal stands on stage, reading from a sheet. Principal. And the winner of this year's Regional Essay Award goes to Lily Carter for her piece, The Kind of Love I Admire. Applause fills the room. Lily walks to the stage, nervous but proud. Her eyes search the crowd. Sarah is there, smiling through tears. David is not. Lily accepts the small certificate and speaks softly into the microphone. Lily, this essay is for someone who taught me that real strength isn't loud. It's kind, and sometimes it's silent. Her mother's hands tremble as she claps. Her father's absence echoes louder than any applause. Sarah holds the framed certificate in her hands, tears glistening. David stands nearby, pretending to be unimpressed. David, it's good she won something, but honestly, that topic's kind of childish, don't you think? The kind of love I admire? Sounds like a fairy tale. Sarah's smile fades. She doesn't answer. Lily, sitting nearby, looks up sharply. Her father's words sting more than she expected. She locks eyes with him for the first time in a long while. There's no anger, just disappointment. David looks away first. A heavy silence fills the room. The kind that says everything no one dares to. Later that night, Sarah places the essay on Lily's nightstand. Lily looks at her mother, proud, sad, and still beautiful despite the hurt. Sarah whispers softly, Sarah, you wrote what I've been trying to say my whole life. Lily reaches out and takes her hand. No words, just understanding. Rain taps against the kitchen window. Sarah moves through the quiet house, setting plates on the table. Lily rushes around, looking for her backpack. David stands by the counter, reading something on his phone. David, did you see this email? My team missed the numbers again. I told them exactly what to do. Sarah glances up from the sink. Sarah, maybe they're under pressure. People make mistakes when they feel. David, interrupting, excuses. That's the problem. No one takes responsibility anymore. He takes a sip of coffee, grimacing. David cold again. Sarah bites her lip, her patience cracking, but she says nothing. Lily watches from the corner, eyes flicking between them. The rain grows heavier. The silence between them grows heavier still. A long dining table buzzes with chatter and laughter. Relatives fill the space. Aunts, uncles, cousins. Plates clatter. Kids run past, and the smell of food fills the room. Sarah sits quietly beside David. She's wearing a soft blue dress, her hair neatly tied. David, in his crisp shirt, dominates the conversation. Loud, confident, the successful one in the family. Uncle Tom. So, David, you're managing a whole division now, right? Must be exhausting. David, grinning. It's a challenge, but someone has to keep things running. Can't just sit around and hope it all works out. Uncle Tom. That's true. Sarah, you must be proud. Sarah smiles faintly. Sarah, of course. He's worked hard for everything he has. David, chuckling. Well, let's not pretend it's been easy. Some of us had to sacrifice a lot. Late nights, stress, decisions no one else could make. He glances at Sarah as he says it, almost teasing, but not kindly. Aunt Marlene. Oh, Sarah, didn't you used to write? Poems or stories, wasn't it? Sarah blushes slightly. Sarah, a long time ago. I stopped after Lily was born. Life just got busy. David, smirking. Yeah, she had her creative phase. We all grow out of that eventually. Laughter around the table, harmless to them, cutting to her. Sarah lowers her gaze. Lily's eyes narrow. She looks at her father with a flicker of anger. Aunt Marlene, softly. That's a shame. You were talented. David, she's better at keeping the house running. Believe me, I'd starve without her. The room chuckles again. Sarah forces a polite smile, her knuckles white beneath the table. Lily. Dad, that's not funny. The laughter dies quickly. David looks at his daughter, surprised, then dismissive. David. It's a joke, Lily. Don't be so serious. Lily, quietly. It's still mean. An uncomfortable silence settles. Sarah tries to calm her daughter with a small shake of her head. David's jaw tightens. His smile fades. The house is dark. Sarah stands by the kitchen sink, washing dishes. The laughter from the party feels miles away now. Her reflection in the window looks tired. Older, somehow. David walks in, loosening his tie. David. You didn't have to make it awkward today. Sarah, I didn't. You did. He stops, caught off guard by the calm in her voice. David, excuse me? Sarah turns, drying her hands slowly. Sarah, you embarrassed me, David, in front of everyone. That's not a joke. It's disrespect, he scoffs, running a hand through his hair. David, you're overreacting. You always do. Sarah, quiet but firm. No. I've been underreacting for years. The words hang heavy between them. David looks stunned, not by her anger, but by her tone. She's not shouting. She's done begging. Sarah, conted. Respect isn't obedience, David. You confuse the two. He stares at her, speechless. The truth lands hard, but instead of admitting it, his pride flares. He grabs his coat and walks out without another word. The front door slams. Lily, who's been standing in the hallway, flinches at the sound. She steps into the kitchen slowly. Her mother stands there, unmoving. Lily, softly. Mom, are you okay? Sarah nods. but tears finally spill down her cheeks. Lily wraps her arms around her, holding her tight. For the first time, Sarah doesn't hide her tears. David sits at his desk, restless, papers scattered. He opens a drawer, looking for a pen, and finds a small notebook tucked beneath some folders. Sarah's handwriting on the cover. He hesitates, then opens it. I miss being seen. I miss being heard. I love him, but I feel invisible beside him. Sometimes I wonder if silence has become my only language. David's breath catches. He flips through the pages. Line after line of quiet heartbreak. Each word feels like a mirror held up to him. His eyes glisten, but pride pushes the tears back. He slams the notebook shut. David, to himself, she's just being dramatic. He leans back, staring at the ceiling. But the words won't leave him. They echo in his head. Louder than any argument. Heavier than any silence. David sits alone in the dark. The house is quiet. Sarah's footsteps absent. Lily's laughter gone. He looks at the journal again on the table. He wants to open it, but doesn't. Pride keeps his hands still. The clock ticks, slow and steady, marking the moment he begins to lose everything he thought he controlled. The house feels hollow. The usual rhythm, the clatter of breakfast plates, Lily's footsteps, Sarah's gentle humming, is gone. David stands in the kitchen, dressed for work. He pours himself coffee, but the pot is empty. He frowns, annoyed, then notices a note on the counter. Lily and I are staying with my sister for a while. We need some space. Just a single line, neat and polite. But to David, it reads like a door slamming shut. He stands still for a long moment, the cup trembling in his hand. Outside, rain begins to fall again, the same rain as before, only heavier now. David sits at his desk, staring at the computer screen, but his mind is elsewhere. Colleagues pass by, talking, laughing. The world keeps moving, unaware that his has stopped. His assistant knocks on the door. "Assistant Mr. Carter? You missed the meeting." "Should I?" David, resigned, cancel it. "I need a minute." The assistant nods awkwardly and leaves. David leans back, rubbing his temples. He opens his phone. Dozens of unread texts, none from Sarah. He scrolls to her number, hovers over call, but doesn't press it. Pride still wins, even now. He closes his eyes, and the silence presses in. Louder than the rain. Louder than any argument they ever had. Sarah helps Lily unpack her things in a small guest room. It's quiet, peaceful, the kind of silence that doesn't hurt. "Do you think he'll call?" Sarah pauses, folding a sweater. "Sarah, I don't know. Maybe when he's ready to listen, not just talk." Lily nods. She doesn't say it, but she misses him. Even now, love and disappointment sit side by side in her heart, tangled and confusing. Sarah sits beside her, brushing a strand of hair from her daughter's face. "Sarah, you were brave, you know. That night at the party, you spoke up when I couldn't." Lily looks down. "Lily, I was just tired of him treating you like that." Sarah smiles softly. "Sarah, so was I." They sit together in quiet understanding, mother and daughter, both learning what strength really looks like. The house creaks in the dark. David sits at his desk again, staring at Sarah's old notebook. He finally opens it. The handwriting flows across the pages, some angry, some tender, some heartbreakingly honest. He doesn't hear me anymore. I speak, and my words vanish in the air. I want to be loved, not managed. I still make his favorite dinner every Friday, even though he never notices. I miss the man I married. I wonder if he misses me too. David's vision blurs. He wipes his eyes roughly, angry at the tears. He stands, pacing the room. The words cut deeper than he thought possible. Every line exposes a wound he caused, not out of cruelty, but carelessness. He finally sinks into the chair, head in his hands. David, softly, to himself. What did I do to her? For the first time, his pride falters, and guilt takes its place. Lily sits by the window, looking out at the moonlight. Her phone buzzes. It's a message from her father. David, text. How are you, Lily? Tell your mom I hope she's okay. Lily hesitates, then types back. Lily, text. You should tell her yourself. She puts the phone down. Sarah watches from the doorway, quiet and proud of her daughter's calm strength. David drives aimlessly, past parks and streets that feel unfamiliar now. He ends up outside a small bookstore, the one Sarah used to visit years ago. He gets out and walks in. The bell above the door chimes softly. He wanders through the aisles, uncertain, until he finds the poetry section. A book catches his eye. The Language of Stillness. He opens it randomly and reads, When love forgets how to listen, it begins to die in silence. He closes the book, clutching it to his chest for a moment. His reflection in the window looks smaller than he remembers, humbled. He buys the book. A knock at the door. Sarah opens it, and there he is, soaked from the rain, the book in his hand, and the first genuine humility in his eyes. They stand in silence. No anger, no yelling, just the weight of all the words they never said. David, quietly. I read your notebook. Sarah stiffens. He continues before she can speak. David, you were right. About everything. Pausing. I thought respect was something owed to me. But it's something I forgot to give. And I don't know how to fix it. But I want to try. Sarah's eyes well up, but she doesn't rush into his arms. She's learned too much to do that now. Sarah, David, this isn't something you fix in a day. It's something you change every day. He nods. David, then let me start with today. He hands her the book. Inside the cover, he's written, For the woman who taught me that silence can be strength, and forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. Sarah runs her fingers over the words, trembling. For the first time in years, she sees sincerity in his eyes, not pride, not defensiveness, just love, stripped bare. The house feels alive again. Not perfect, but healing. Lily laughs softly at the kitchen table as David helps her with a project. Sarah watches from the stove, quiet but content. David looks up and catches her gaze. There's gratitude in his smile. Not possession, not expectation. Just thanks. Sarah nods back, a soft peace settling between them. The three of them sit together, watching the sunset. Lily leans against her father, Sarah's hand resting beside his. Not touching, but close. Sometimes, losing what you take for granted is the only way to learn what it means to love. Respect isn't about who's right. It's about seeing someone else's heart and choosing to care for it. He looks at his wife and daughter, the two people who taught him the hardest lesson of all, that love, without respect, is just a shadow. As the sky fades to gold and the world grows quiet again, David finally feels what peace sounds like. Sunlight spills through half-open blinds, revealing a space that once echoed with silence, now filled with soft, steady motion. David stands in the kitchen, making breakfast. It's clumsy, burnt toast, eggs too runny, but there's effort, and effort means everything. He places the plate on the table, next to a framed photo of Sarah and Lily from years ago. He looks at it, exhales and whispers, not to the picture, but to himself, David, softly. I'm not done learning. The house isn't cold anymore. It's quiet, but warm. The kind of quiet that comes after a storm has passed. David sits across from a calm, middle-aged therapist. The walls are lined with books and soft colors. He looks uncomfortable, hands clasped tight. Therapist. You've mentioned guilt a lot, David. But guilt alone doesn't heal things. What does healing look like to you? David pauses, staring at the floor. David, listening. Without fixing. Without winning. Beat. I spent years trying to control everything. Even love. Now, I just want to learn how to be someone my daughter can respect again. The therapist nods gently, jotting something down. Therapist. That's a good start. Healing begins with the courage to see yourself honestly. You're doing that now? David leans back, eyes glassy. For the first time, those words don't make him defensive. They make him hopeful. David stands near the entrance, waiting. He's holding a small bouquet. Not roses or anything grand, just daisies. Lily's favorite. Lily spots him from a distance and hesitates. It's been weeks since he tried reaching out. David, gently. Hey, kiddo. She crosses her arms, wary but curious. Lily, you didn't have to come. David, I wanted to. Thought maybe we could grab some ice cream. Just talk. If that's okay. Lily studies him. There's something different in his voice. Softer. He's not demanding a relationship. He's asking for one. After a moment, she sighs, half smiling. Lily, all right, but I picked the place. David chuckles, nodding. David deal. They sit across from each other at a small table, 2 cups of melting ice cream between them. The awkwardness fades slowly as laughter sneaks in through the cracks. David listens more than he talks. He doesn't interrupt. When Lily mentions her writing, he leans in, genuinely interested. David, you always had a way with words. I read your essay again the other night. Every line of it. Lily blinks, surprised. Lily. Really? He nods. David, it was beautiful. And honest. You saw things I didn't want to see. And I'm proud of you for that. She looks down, fiddling with her spoon. Lily Mom said, people can change, but only if they really want to. David meets her gaze, his voice steady. David, she's right. And I really do. Lily studies him for a long time before nodding slightly. Lily. Okay, Dad. Then start by showing it. Her words aren't cruel. They're a challenge. A bridge half built, waiting for him to cross. David writes in a journal, the same way Sarah used to. His handwriting is rough, uneven, but every word comes from the heart. I thought being respected meant being feared. I was wrong. Respect begins with humility. I want to earn back what I broke, not by promises, but by patience. He pauses, tears spotting the page. Then he keeps writing. Love doesn't die in silence. It waits. Sometimes it waits until you're ready to hear it again. He closes the book slowly, a faint, hopeful smile on his lips. David volunteers at a local shelter, serving meals and talking quietly with strangers. He spends weekends fixing up the house, repainting walls, planting flowers Sarah once loved. He calls Lily every night, asking about her day, and actually listening. A calendar on the wall shows small notes. Therapy at 3, dinner with Lily, write, Sarah. The transformation isn't dramatic. It's real, subtle, earned. Months later, David sits at a small cafe table, nervously checking his watch. Then he sees her, Sarah, walking in. She looks radiant in her quiet simplicity, confident, free. David stands, smiling awkwardly. David. Hey. Sarah. Hi, David. They sit. The silence isn't heavy anymore, just unfamiliar. He hands her a folded letter. David, I didn't ask you here to fix things. I just wanted to thank you for loving me when I didn't know how to love back. Sarah unfolds the letter. It's short, but heartfelt. You once wrote that respect was all you ever asked for. I see now, without it, love is hollow. You deserved better than the man I was, but I'm trying to be better than that man now. Not for you to come back, but because I want to be worthy of the love you gave me. Sarah's eyes glisten as she reads. She looks up, studying him, searching for pride, ego, excuses, but she finds none. Sarah, you really did change. David nods slowly. David's still changing. Every day, she smiles. Not out of longing, but peace. Sarah. That's good, David. That's all I ever wanted. For you to see it. They sit quietly, sipping their coffee. It's not a romantic reunion. It's something deeper. Acceptance. Closure. Lily's typing at her desk when her phone buzzes. A picture from her dad. It's the backyard, freshly planted with bright daisies. David. Text. Thought it needed a little life again. Like we do. She smiles, tears welling in her eyes, then types back. Lily. Text. Proud of you, Dad. Therapist. You seem lighter today. David nods, smiling faintly. David, I forgave myself, or I'm learning to therapist and Sarah? David, she forgave me too, not by coming back, but by letting me start over. The therapist leans forward. Therapist. Sometimes redemption isn't about winning people back. It's about becoming someone worth being forgiven. David nods, absorbing every word. Lily's graduation day. Parents fill the rows, clapping, cheering. David sits near the aisle, dressed neatly, a quiet pride in his eyes. Sarah joins him, taking a seat beside him. There's a gentle familiarity. Not romance, but respect. The lights dim. Lily steps onto the stage, clutching her notes. Lily, into microphone. When I was younger, I thought love was about big words and promises. But I've learned that love, real love, is built in the quiet moments, in respect, in forgiveness, in choosing to change, even when it's hard. She glances toward her parents, eyes full of emotion. This speech is for the people who taught me that lesson. Not through perfection, but through growth. Mom, Dad, thank you for showing me that love can be rebuilt, even from its broken pieces. Applause fills the room. Sarah wipes a tear. David's hands tremble slightly as he claps. For a brief moment, their eyes meet, and both smile through tears. Not sadness, not regret. Gratitude. Graduates hug, laugh, take photos. Lily walks out, cap in hand, between her parents. They stand together. Not as a broken family, but a rebuilt one. Not perfect, but real. David V.O. Redemption isn't about erasing mistakes. It's about facing them and letting them shape something better. Respect isn't demanded. It's nurtured. One humble act at a time. Sarah slips her hand lightly onto his arm. Not as a wife, but as a friend who's seen his heart transform. Lily takes both their hands, pulling them close as the sun dips below the horizon. David V.O. Love without respect dies in silence, but love that learns to respect lives forever. Laughter fills the air. Balloons sway, cameras flash, and proud parents gather for photos. Lily stands near the steps of the school auditorium in her graduation gown, her face glowing with a mix of joy and disbelief. The end of one chapter, the start of another. David and Sarah stand nearby, watching her with quiet pride. They don't stand side by side out of habit, but out of comfort. Two people who have made peace with the past and with each other. David adjusts his tie nervously. Sarah notices, smiling softly. Sarah. You did good, David. She turned out beautifully. He exhales, chuckling. David. She takes after you. All grace, all heart. Sarah shakes her head. Sarah, no. She takes after both of us. The best parts. David nods slowly, humbled by the truth of that. The lights dim again. The air buzzes with anticipation as Lily takes the stage for her valedictorian speech. She stands behind the podium, scanning the crowd until her eyes find her parents. A deep breath, and then her voice, steady and full of meaning. Lily, into microphone. When I was little, I thought love was about being right, about winning arguments or proving points. But as I grew up, I learned that love is really about respect, about listening, even when it's hard, about choosing kindness, even when it hurts. A murmur ripples through the crowd. Parents nodding, couples holding hands tighter. Lily, continuing. I learned that from two people who taught me more than they'll ever know. Not through perfection, but through change. My mom showed me that strength can be quiet. My dad showed me that humility can heal what pride destroys. Her voice catches slightly, emotion breaking through. Lily, this is for them, for showing me that love doesn't have to be flawless to be real. The audience erupts in applause. David wipes his eyes discreetly. Sarah doesn't bother hiding her tears. For a moment, all three of them share the same expression: pride, love, and the peace that comes from surviving something together. The ceremony ends. The crowd disperses, and the golden light paints everything soft and warm. Lily walks toward her parents, diploma in hand. They embrace her. The three of them standing in a quiet, perfect triangle of connection. No speeches, no apologies left to make. Just understanding. David looks at Sarah, gratitude in his eyes. David, thank you for not giving up on me completely. Sarah smiles gently. Sarah, I didn't do it for you, David. I did it for all of us. They both glance at Lily, who's laughing with friends, a picture of hope. Later that night, they walk through a nearby park. The air hums with crickets and the scent of summer grass. Lily runs ahead, spinning in her gown, laughing freely. David and Sarah trail behind, comfortable in their silence. David, V.O. Respect isn't something we demand. It's something we nurture. In words, in choices, in how we treat the people who trust us with their hearts. He watches Lily twirl under the fading light. David, V.O. And when we finally learn to give it, that's when love becomes something lasting, something true. Sarah looks over her shoulder, smiling as David catches up. They stand together, watching their daughter, the living proof of their growth, their mistakes, their redemption. David, softly. She's our best lesson, isn't she, Sarah? She is the lesson. The wind carries their laughter as they turn toward home, not as a couple, but as a family, finally at peace. Fade out, final message. Narration over black screen. Respect is not something we demand. It's something we earn by listening, by changing, by loving without condition. And when it returns to us, it isn't weakness, it's grace. The kind that makes love worth believing in again.